what happened in the rest of that game. Game 4 between these two teams. The Knicks lead 2-1. There is Jason Tatum. 5 minutes left in the first quarter. Celtics down 1. Tatum going to find himself some Derek White, who was prolific from 3 in this game. That made it a 2-point Celtics lead. Then Tatum pulling up over Karl Anthony Towns. He's going to hit his own 3. He was also very good in this game before he went out. Celtics still up by 2. Tatum over Jalen Brunson, another 3. The Celtics were up 33-28, and then another 3. Tatum and White, by the way, they scored 29 points in the first quarter. The Knicks as a team, all of them scored 28. Celtics led 39-28 after the first quarter, but as you know, in this series, particularly for the Celtics, double-digit lead ain't safe, particularly when Jalen Brunson goes out in the second half and does this. Off the miss, grabs it, Knicks down 83-78. Then Brunson hitting the fadeaway jumper over White. Knicks down only 2. How about a tie? Boom. Knicks 83, Celtics 83. 38 seconds left. Knicks down 2. Watch Brunson. Drives. Gets how many Celtics defenders? A couple. OG Anunoby left open in the corner, so he knocks it down. Celtics scored 23 points in the third. Brunson scored or assisted, and 25. Knicks led by 3 after 3 in the fourth. Tatum. That made it 99-98. Celtics out front. Next, Knicks possession, an immediate answer from Mikal Bridges. Knicks back up 1, then Celtics down 3. Tatum stops, pivots, called bank, and the foul. Not bad. Check out the history. Most 40-point games in Celtics playoff history. He's at 5 and quite the ties. Celtics at 102 after the free throw. Kristaps Porzingis, the victim there of OG Anunoby, knelt the Knicks back up 3. Then Brunson crossing over Al Horford. Knicks up 5. Bridges making it 111-104, and then this happened. Out of the timeout, the next Celtics possession, Jason Tatum tosses it to Jaylen Brown. OG Anunoby steals it, and then that is the moment right there. Tatum holding the lower right leg. Seems to make the normal move. No contact. Obviously something's tweaked. He's going to have that MRI. Tatum, 42 points. Celtics down after that, 113-104. The wheelchair, the emotions, and then, you know, the air completely out of the Celtics. Brunson step back 3 over Brown. Brunson had 39 points, 12 assists, and a big Knicks win, 121-113.
I think it was a sense of like urgency, desperation, just knowing that we have a great opportunity and we're playing a really good team. There's always time to learn for us, and so we got to make sure that we're never satisfied, and just having that student mentality.
What did you make of Brunson's performance and how he was able to take over that game?
Honestly, do we all expect anything less? I expect nothing less from Cat. It gets to the fourth quarter, he's a bad man when it comes to the fourth quarter and clutch points. So I know we've said it before, but you get in those moments, we all trust our talent. We know we all do, but man, it's special when you get to watch him doing that in the fourth quarter. So shout out to him.
Well, that's the trifecta for the Knicks, because they have had double-digit comebacks in this series against the Celtics now 3 times. In fact, all of their wins have been comebacks of at least 14 or more. Only one other team has done that since 1998. That was the Warriors in 2019. Also, that came against the Trailblazers. Now the Celtics are down 3-1, and they are probably without Jason Tatum. There's Joe Mazzulla.
Tonight, we just didn't play well defensively, and we're in a hole, and we got to get back to Boston, and we got to figure out a way to win.
Get ready to fight. Get ready to come out on our home floor and do what we need to do. That's the goal. It's still the goal. We got enough in this locker room, so I believe in my guys. It was terrible defensively tonight, to be frank. Just no resistance. We was just too concerned. Offense was great. Offense was fine. We made a lot of shots, but just no resistance on defense.
Stephen A. Smith was in the building for Game 4, and he joins us now from the Garden floor. So, Stephen A., this wasn't the epic late comebacks of Games 1 and 2. This was the Knicks going toe-to-toe with the Celtics the entire second half. What stood out to you about the way the Knicks played tonight?
Well, what you just said, how they went toe-to-toe, how they were ready for battle, how they showed up and they played defense collectively. Offensively, you had 4 different dudes scoring in double figures. This is what you expected from the New York Knicks. Not necessarily to win games, but to make it a grind and to make sure that the reigning defending NBA champions knew they were in a dogfight. For the first 3 quarters of games 1 and 2, you didn't see that. And then the Knicks miraculously came back from 20-point deficits. In Game 3, they got blitzed. And you know Boston, the best road team in the NBA, 5 games better than they were at home during this regular season, came into Madison Square Garden and bum rushed the New York Knicks. So you walked up in here, and that momentum, that vibe, that fervor, and everything that came with it for Game 3 at Madison Square Garden clearly dissipated to some degree coming into Game 4 because there were a lot of New Yorkers that were incredibly concerned. Could the Knicks beat this team? Could they avoid getting down into a deep deficit that they probably wouldn't be able to dig themselves out of? And sure enough, the New York Knicks stood toe-to-toe and battled them throughout before the New York Knicks pulled away. Despite the greatness of Jason Tatum and what kind of show he put on, nobody else had anything that the New York Knicks couldn't handle. Collectively, they showed up, led by Jalen Brunson, the clutch player of the year, the face of this franchise, showing up and showing what a star he truly, truly is. And that's why they won this game.
And now they're just 1 game away from advancing to the conference finals. You mentioned Jason Tatum, the great game he had, and then the terrible injury late in the game. And so now the Celtics have to try to regroup and win 3 in a row, likely without their best player. What sense do you have of what this series is going to look like the rest of the way?
Well, first order of business, we don't know what happened to him yet. A whole bunch of people are speculating courtside that it's a torn Achilles because it looked very similar to what happened to Kevin Durant years ago in the NBA Finals against Toronto. We hope that's not it, but everybody is of the mindset that's how it looked to the human eye, those of us near courtside watching what transpired to him. So we wish him nothing but the best. As it pertains to the Boston Celtics, Jalen Brown is getting paid $304 million for a reason. This kid Pritchard is 6th man of the year. Al Horford is a champion. Derek White and obviously Drew Holiday, they're champions. We know what they bring to the table, and you can't count them out. But it is safe to say that when you look at the New York Knicks right now going up against a Boston Celtics team without Jason Tatum, there is no question that the New York Knicks should win this series. You can't lose a 3-1 series lead, even to the reigning defending NBA champions, if they are devoid of their best player. The New York Knicks, if you can't close it out in Boston, you damn sure should be able to close it out at Madison Square Garden for Game 6. That is now the expectation for New Yorkers and New York fans everywhere.
Wow, how things have churned. That's for sure. To be the champs, you got to beat the champs in this case, and they will try to do that. The Knicks will on Wednesday. Stephen A. giving us his thoughts from Madison Square Garden.
More SportsCenter coming up. More post-game coverage from San Francisco, where that guy has just sat down how the third quarter went all manner of wrong for Steve Kerr and the Warriors. Then turns out the